Welcome to another episode of Wired Right, the podcast that strips away the fluff and tells you about how things in the trades actually work. If you've listened to previous episodes, you know we've touched on this before. Whether you call it a trip fee, a dispatch fee, or a service call fee, it all comes down to the same thing: the cost for a professional to show up at your home. And today I want to take you behind the curtain because I get it. You see that fee and think, why should I pay just for somebody to show up? Well, by the time that van rolls into your driveway, it's probably already cost the company between $100 and $200 before a single tool ever leaves the van. And here's the kicker: some of the big national or corporate service companies, they'll take your credit card and bill you before they even start the truck. Why? Because they know exactly what it costs to operate and they're protecting their time. So let's break it down. When you call a service company, it doesn't start with the technician, it starts in the office. A real person takes your call and they verify your information. They schedule your job, they build the work order in dispatching software and coordinate the route for the technician to come to your home. And that process takes people and software and time. And that's before anybody touches the steering wheel in the van. Now, that van pulling in your driveway, it's not just a random vehicle. It's insured, maintained, stocked, and filled with thousands of dollars in materials so that they can fix things on the first visit. And the person driving the van, he or she is a licensed professional, someone who's spent years in trade school, apprenticeships, and continuing education. That means constant code updates and training just to stay qualified. By the time the van leaves the shop, here's what you're really paying for: the staff who took your call and scheduled your job, the software that keeps the company running smoothly, the licensing, bonding, and ongoing education for technicians, liability insurance, so you're protected if something goes wrong, the vehicle, fuel, maintenance, tools, test equipment, stocked materials, advertising, marketing, because someone has to make sure you even found us. And of course, labor, because quality work takes time and skill. When you add all of that up, it's not just a fee for showing up. It's the cost of operating safely, legally, and professionally. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the so-called free estimate. If someone isn't charging you to show up, it usually means one of two things: either they don't know their value or they're building that cost in somewhere else. And when you see the words free estimate, trust me, you're still paying for it just on the back end. That cost might be hiding in inflated job pricing, shortcuts in materials, or rush labor. Nobody's working for free. They're just hoping you don't notice where the bill shows up later. Here's the truth: professional companies don't profit from trip fees. They barely cover what it costs to keep things moving. That fee ensures a qualified, licensed person arrives at your home prepared, not guessing, not Googling or YouTubing. When you hire a pro, you're not just paying for their time that day. You're paying for every year they spent learning how to keep your home safe and for the systems that make sure they can do it efficiently and legally. So let's put this into perspective. When your plumber charges $89 or your HVAC tech charges $99, they're not making a profit on that call. They're just covering the cost of running a legitimate business. Now look at the guy on Facebook Marketplace offering a free estimate. No license, no insurance, no continuing education. If something goes wrong, there's no warranty, no accountability. You're the one footing the bill. So when you think about that trip fee, understand this: it's not about paying for someone to look around. It's about paying for a company that values professionalism, preparation, and safety. Here's what most homeowners never see: the technician didn't just wake up one day and decide to wire houses. They've spent years earning certifications, buying tools, completing continuing education, and working safely under supervision. Behind every visit are dozens of invisible costs: safety training, software systems, scheduling, dispatching platforms, HR, payroll, admin, marketing, advertising, vehicle insurance, gas and maintenance, and yes, comprehensive liability insurance. So why does a legitimate business do all this? And the answer is liability. We carry the risk every single time we touch your home's electrical system. If something goes wrong, a fire, a shock, some type of failure, we're the ones that are on the hook. That's why we invest so heavily in training, insurance, systems, and licensing. But here's the flip side. When you don't hire a professional and something goes wrong, who's going to pay for it? Can your neighbor who knows a little electrical cover the cost of that damage? Is Joe Handyman insured for the work that he's doing? It's not a scare tactic, it's real life. Because when your insurance company refuses the claim since a licensed contractor didn't install it, guess what happens next? You go after the person who did the work, and 9 times out of 10, they vanish. Now you're in a civil lawsuit, spending more time and more money chasing a ghost, and the odds of ever recovering enough to make it right are slim. So that trip fee, that dispatch charge, that's not greed. That's the cost of doing business the right way. It's the cost of accountability. So next time you see a service fee on your invoice, just remember, it's not a charge to knock on your door. It's the cost of sending someone qualified, equipped, insured, and ready to solve your problem the right way. And if you find someone who doesn't charge to show up, they either don't understand their value yet, or they're hiding that cost somewhere else. You're not paying for the 5 minutes it takes to diagnose the issue. You're paying for the 10 years of experience that made it look that easy. I'm Stu, and this has been Wired Right. Please follow the show, leave a review, share this episode with anyone who still thinks trip fees are optional. Stay safe, stay smart, and just make sure that it's wired right.